Before we start, I will remind you of the book that you must order before tomorrow. How to Secure Your Financial Future. Have you gotten your copy? Because tomorrow will be the launch and the price will go up. So hurry up to get your copies on Amazon. But if you're in Nigeria, you still have hope because from Sunday, we will have the pre-order in Okada Books if you reside in Nigeria. So keep your questions coming. Do you know where to send the questions? Send your questions to pastor@sundayadelajablog.com. I repeat, pastor@sundayadelajablog.com, so that Dr. Sandey Adelaja will answer your questions today, I believe. Okay, Pastor, how are you, sir?
Well, I'm okay. Somebody wrote me during the week and said that he sent in some questions from last week, okay, and he didn't get his questions read. So I hope we'll be able to get to his question today, if he's lucky.
I believe so. I believe so, too.
Okay, from last week?
Yes, we have a few questions left from last week, but we've added them here.
Okay. So when the question you asked, do you remember?
I remember the last one I asked.
Yes, that's the one I mean.
Ah, okay, the last one.
No, the last one you just asked me now.
Oh, okay.
The question you just asked me now, do you remember?
No.
I thought you just asked me a question now.
I said, how are you doing?
That was a question, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
That's what I was asking for.
Oh, okay. How are you doing, sir?
If it's a question, and the reason why I ask if you remember it or not is to know if you meant it or not.
No, I mean it. Yes,
or
I mean it.
It was just a cliche.
No, I mean it.
You know, it could be a cliche.
No, it's not, because I believe that those watching also want to know how you are doing.
Okay.
Apart from me.
If you really said you mean it, if you really said you mean it, then what do you mean?
I mean, how are you? Because I've seen you throughout the day. You've been on the road. I suppose you went to some meeting to speak, most probably. So, and I know that from your eyes that you are somehow tired. So that's why I asked the question, to know how we're going to go.
Where did you see me?
I saw you live on Facebook.
I didn't do live on Facebook.
I think somebody was helping you. Somebody was doing the video. Mayowa, not somebody. Mayowa was videoing you and Dr. Derek.
When I was in the car, or what?
Yes, sir. And when Pastor Derek was in your office.
Okay. So you know I've been busy.
Yes, sir.
Now, can you tell me why you want to know how I am doing? You want to know what is it you are after? If I'm tired or yes, if I'm tired or not, or what? You just want to know my state?
I want to know your state, and I'm just, I'm not just here by myself. I'm representing the viewers too. And I believe that that's the question most of them would have loved to ask too.
Yeah, that's exactly why I asked the question. So what do you mean that how am I doing? You mean how am I doing today? Or you want to say what am I doing, or how am I doing in general in my life? Or you mean how am I doing in terms of spiritually? Or you mean how am I doing morally? Or you mean how am I doing in terms of well-being? So I want to get it so that I will be able to answer you precisely. And that's why I asked the question, did you really mean it? And that question was, is it coming out of a conscious mind, or is it coming out of the normal cliche?
Okay. I meant two things. So you helped me now to know what I meant. Because I actually meant, how is your well-being today, physically, because you've been out, and as a human being, every human being gets tired. Then secondly, I mean, how are you doing generally in your affairs, with all that is going on around you?
Okay, the first question I think we could just let it pass.
Okay.
Because that is what you meant originally. Because you are saying, how am I doing physically, that is today, because I've been out.
Yes, sir.
So if I tell you how I'm doing physically, being out all day, how is that going to help you? Or how are you going to help me? I don't think there's much you could do for me in that regard. So if there is not much you could do for me, so let's just leave that one alone.
Let's leave that one alone.
Now you yourself are coming to that conclusion.
Oh,
you yourself are coming to that conclusion too.
yes, sir.
Okay. Then let's face.
That's what happens to you when you start on Pastor Sandey. He makes you to think, you know.
Yes.
So that's why I love it.
Well, you're also a student of analytical thinking now.
Yes, sir.
Now I've got to make you do experiment and the practical.
Yes, sir.
So now how am I doing in regards to my life in general and what's happening around me? That's a more interesting question. I want to believe that God is helping me. I want to believe that I am trying my best to be in tune with God's movement and God's vibration on the earth and in regards to my life. If what I said makes any meaning to you at all.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Is that enough or you want me to expand?
I believe that nobody can do what you're doing without God helping him. You know, so that's the answer. Not that you believe that God is helping you, but God sure is at your back. That's why you could do all that you're doing, and you could move at the time that you are moving without really, breaking down.
Yeah. So, as regards to how I'm doing, since God is on my side and is helping, I want to say I am busy. I am busy building the future. That's the best way to say what I'm doing. I am busy building the future in line with what I think God is doing, where God is moving, and in line with his vibration movement upon my life and upon the earth. I am trying to construct the future from where I am. So I'm doing my best to touch as far as the next 40 years, 40, 50 years, and to see what I can do today about it.
You said 40, 50 years, but I believe...
I'm actually constructing for the next 300
Yes,
years.
yes.
But what I'm just saying right now, you are saying
Okay,
right
right
now.
now.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys have heard it, how Pastor is doing, in case you wanted to ask that question. So I've helped you out. So let's now go straight to the questions that we have on the list.
By the way, no, before you go to the question we have on the list, I'm looking at your headgear. You look marvelous. I think this is Brazilian.
I don't know who is it.
Yeah, he's either Brazilian or South Africa, but I think it's Brazilian. I think it is Brazilian, and it is gorgeous.
Thank you, sir.
It's Brazilian style. Did anybody help you?
No.
You did it yourself?
Yes, sir. We have the internet, YouTube. I learned it from YouTube.
You did it yourself?
Yes, sir.
Ooh. You are a miracle worker. Beautiful,
Thank you,
gorgeous, marvelous.
Mm.
It's like you have an outing today.
Yes, as Pastor Sunday is one of my main outings. So.
Okay, if it's one of your main outings, if you had dressed to come to do Ask Pastor Sunday like this, how will you then dress when you come to 50th? Because my main thing this year is going to be the 50th birthday of Pastor Sunday. And I'm sure you are going to be there. So how will you then come if you're already looking like this today?
Yes,
you are
sir.
going to be breaking record every weekend. And that's beating.
Yes, sir. You know, it's one of my passion to dress good. So I thank God for the, will I say?
For the gift?
Yeah, the gift, yeah. I know how to do it. I know how to do it.
Good job. Good job.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry if I distracted you a little bit.
No, you didn't. It's part of the show. Okay. Do you have any more questions, sir?
No, I'm okay. I'm ready to answer questions now.
Okay. We are having fun here, guys. All right. The first question is being slain in the spirit biblical?
If you are asking the question, is it biblical or not, it means that you want to probably find, it means you are looking at it as if slaying in the spirit is a doctrine. So I'm not going to address it as a doctrine. As far as I'm concerned, slaying in the spirit or people falling down in the spirit is not a doctrine. And anybody who is going to regard it or treat it as a doctrine, I think they will probably be in a form of error. So I will view slaying or being falling in the spirit as an occurrence which it might not be against the Bible or against the will of God, but it's just a natural occurrence of what happens to man when a higher force or a higher energy hits them or touches them, and that higher energy makes them to lose balance in the physical body, which means that their resistance level might not be able to withhold that particular force that is coming on them. So it's just different ways the body could react to to the touch of the spirit or to the touch of a higher power, a higher energy. Some people might be shaking, some people might be smiling or be laughing, or some people might be falling. So any of those are just manifestations, and we shouldn't make too much a thing of manifestation. We shouldn't count it as a doctrine, and we shouldn't see it as a big thing. We should just see it as a manifestation of our different body. It's just like when you touch electricity. You know, your body reacts in a certain way. So it's not cannot be a doctrine or something like that. It's just a reaction, and it's not a big deal. We shouldn't be making a big deal out of it.
Okay, being slain in the spirit. Okay, I have to forget that question. Let me go to the next one. Is it ever possible for Jews and Arabs to live in peace according to what the Bible says? Because if God has said they will have no peace, why do we need to pray for them to have peace today?
Is it possible for them to live in peace? I don't think so. I don't think that it's going to be possible for them to live in peace because of that particular scripture or passage of the Bible when God put enmity between the seed of Ishmael and Jacob and Isaac. So, but we don't want war as well. You see, strife or enmity could be there, but without war. War is what we don't want. So when people tell you to pray for them, they are probably telling you to pray so as to avert war. People might have conflict, but without it ending in war.
Wow. There might be enmity and strife, but we can avoid war. That is why we pray for them.
Yeah, because war is now something very much more serious. War, it could bring much more destruction to an even greater number of people or nations than those ones that we are talking about now. It could lead to world war.
Yeah.
And war leads to loss of life as well. Even if it's the Jews or the Arab lives, we don't want war. War is very devastating.
So it's right to keep on praying so that there will be no war.
Yes, because God said we should pray for the peace of Jerusalem anyway. That's pray for Israel. And that is actually, Jerusalem actually belongs not just to Israel, it belongs to both Israel and the Arab people, Palestinians. So he's saying we should pray for Jerusalem means we should pray for all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, not just for the Jews, but we should pray for all the people there in that land.
Wow. Okay, so let's keep on praying so that there will be no war, for the peace of Jerusalem.
Yes.
Okay, the third question, how should Christians relate to the political process of voting?
This political process of voting is a demonstration of the liberty or freedom of the will. So God is giving man a free will, and that free will politically is expressed through voting or elections. So it's a form of liberty and freedom of the personality or of the person, and that should be exercised to give you the opportunity to exercise your free will over external matters, social matters, political matters. So apart from your own life, your own little life of just egocentric, ego-concentrated life of yours, that you have a say also in things that pertain to your society, in things that pertain to your environment, and in things that pertain to your nation. So is that free will power affects other people as well. And because your free will and your life affects other lives, that's why you have to contribute to the society you are living in. And other people's lives also affect you. Other people's choice affect you. So that's why you need to express your own choice and your own authority and your own liberty so that you have a say in what eventually will have an effect on you.
So free will to vote should be done. Mostly we Christians, we think that, like, we pray that God gives us a good leader.
Okay.
But we refuse to go and vote to add to, to help that good leader to come up, or to even be a candidate, like to want to be a president, for example, or a governor. We refuse to do that, but we are praying for a godly person to come in power. How will that happen if we don't?
Yes, that's a very good point you raised, because it's one thing to be voting to elect somebody else, but it's even better for you to be elected. It's even better when you allow yourself to be voted in, to be elected, to be voted in. So, so that's another area where you want to exercise your citizenship, your civic right as a citizen. So it means that you don't just have a responsibility to vote, because voting is like responsibility and a right at the same time, but it's more responsibility. But to be voted is more a right, to be voted for. So since we are Christians and we are saying we want to make the world a better place, and instead of us to be praying that God will send somebody from somewhere, we are already available. Why not us? Why God can't use us? So it's even better to put yourself up and your candidacy out for election, and to be voted for as a candidate to be elected. Yeah, that's even much better.
Wow. That reminds me of the book, God Must Save Nigeria. What a myth.
Only God.
Only God can save Nigeria. What a myth, because we are used to just praying without taking action, So you have to go and vote. There's nothing wrong with it if you're a Christian. It's your right, your civil right. And as we are talking Do you remember the book that we have on? Have you pre-ordered your book? Right? Financial future.
Yes, how to build a secured financial future.
How to build a secured financial future. You can get your copies, you can pre-order your copies on Amazon. And tomorrow will be the launch, and the prices will go up.
From Sunday it will go up. So they still have today and tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay, from Sunday, sorry.
Yes.
From Sunday it will go up.
We launch it tomorrow, then the price will still be at a pre-order price.
Okay.
Then from Sunday it goes up. But for people on Amazon, OkadaBooks.com, they will begin to pre-order. They can begin to pre-order only from Sunday.
From Sunday.
Yes.
So if you're in Nigeria, take the opportunity, okay? Seize the opportunity. From Sunday, you can pre-order this book, financial, how to secure your financial, how to build your financial, how to build a secured financial future.
Yes.
Okay, so you get yours on Okada Books.
All right, but for everybody else, even if you're in Nigeria, you can still get it on Amazon. Anybody could get it on Amazon right now for like $4. Otherwise, after that, it's going to go up like $20, $18, $20.
Okay, so don't miss out. And meanwhile, send in your questions to pastor@sundaydelajablog.com, okay? So that we can answer them. Next question. Pastor, this is a long one. Pastor, could you share some light
break it.
Okay. Pastor, could you share some light on how people tend to falsely accuse others based on presumptions or with whatever other intent? Pastor, could you share some light on how people tend to falsely accuse others based on presumption or with whatever other intent?
Yeah, because most people in our world, right now I'm dealing with the topic of thinking, the art of thinking. And you will see that one of the levels or principles of thinking is assumption. And assumption is the least form of thinking. And is the least form of information. Is the least form of knowledge, sorry. But still, it's still one of the way we think. It's actually one of the beginning step, the first step in our thinking process, one of the very first aspect of thinking that we engage in. We normally assume something before we go further to verify it. So it is natural for people to live in assumption, to experience assumption or to start out in assumption. And assumption is so common because most people don't think deeper. They don't think deeper than assumption. They don't go deeper. Because if you want to go deeper, it takes more strain and more thinking efforts for you to go from assumption into research, into evidence, into purpose, into questioning, into worldview, and many other things that you need to consider when you are thinking. So those are too complex for most people to do. Those are too complex things for most people to do. So most people just stop on the level of assumption. And those are the people I call biomasses. Most people are just biomasses. 90% of the people in the world are just biomasses. So since they are on that level, people just respond to what they suspect, or what they presume, or what they assume, or what they heard, or what they think. Since that is the level people are, and people are not at the level of research, people are not at the level of analysis, people are not at the level of, data, gathering evidence. People are not on that level yet. So they just assume. So you can understand where people are coming from. That because most people think on the level of assumption. So that's the number one reason why people will accuse other people, because they just assume. And since they assume only, they don't get their facts together, and it's too hard work to do that. So that's why they will accuse you without even bothering, because that's where they are. So you don't need to get annoyed when people accuse you of things. It's just because it tells more about who they are than it tells about who you are. It just tells about their level. That's where they are.
Wow.
They live on the level of assumption. Just have to forgive people and move on.
Wow.
The second reason why people accuse other people of things is because many people, most people, everybody else, every other person is judging other people. All of us, we judge other people mostly not based on what the person has done or has not done. We mostly judge people based on our understanding of the reality of an occurrence. So what if anything happens somewhere, we judge things and we come to conclusions in accordance to what we would have done or what we could have done or how we do it or how we behave. So if we are like that, we would normally assume that other people too are like that. Or if we already think, if that is what we think, we assume that people are like that, and that, maybe we are not like that, but other people are like that. If that's already our way of thinking, that these people are like this, these people are evil. So any evil thing that comes past that person, just, I know now the person is evil. Because that is the level of where they are. They just accuse other people based on their preconceived belief system. So people judge other people not on the reality, but on their belief system, on their own preconceived beliefs. So you cannot judge, you cannot stop people, and you cannot blame people because that is just their own value system. That's their own belief system that they have, unfortunately. That's where they are. So they will come up with, and you cannot stop people from opening their mouth and talking, especially now in the world of media and internet, and anybody can hide behind a computer and write anything they want.
Yes,
so so everybody can do things like that. So they are free to express. So you just have to understand, but you have to also be good enough to, you have to be analytical enough not to believe any kind of junk. But if you are not analytical enough yourself and you just hear what other people are spreading, because you are not analytical yourself, you just believe it. So you believe lies because you have not done thorough work on yourself to always analyze, to always look for evidence, or to always look for truth. And then you just believe whatever lie that is sold to you. Now, another reason why people will always accuse falsely is because people are living in fear of other people. People might think that you are a threat to them. Maybe you are doing something that is so successful or that's so big or that is, they think is wrong. So people have their own reasons why they think that what you are doing is dangerous or is bad. So that fear and that concern that they have wants to make them to think that you are doing something wrong. And even maybe whatever you are doing, they think they sincerely believe that is wrong, and that's why they come against you with whatever evidence they could get. So there are a lot of reasons. Another reason why people will accuse you falsely or baselessly is because of their school of thought. Some of them have been taught like this. If they have been taught like this all their lives, and that you shouldn't, as a girl, you shouldn't even have lipstick, and you're having lipstick.
So red one.
Or you are sitting with a man on a television show, that could take. So it's because of where people are. So when people are accusing you falsely, it's not about that person they are accusing falsely. It's also about them. So I don't really care, So you must be above that. You must be mature enough not to come to the level of people who are accusing you.
Wow. I remember you're teaching how to deal with critics or something like that. Criticism. So if you're not following Dr. Sandey Adelajah on Facebook, I think this is the time for you to do that. You go and find Dr. Sandey Adelajah on Facebook, and he has a lot of teachings, more than thousands of teachings that will help you. And more so, go to his blog, SandeiAdelajablog.com. You have videos, you have audios, you have all sorts of ways to educate yourself, to have some, I don't want to say brains, but to add more brains to your own brain, you understand, some wisdom. And talking about analytical
YouTube too, though.
Yes, YouTube, Sandei Adelaja Official, /video, right?
No, that's on blog. You need to do
/ video is on blog. Just
but YouTube,
YouTube, Sandei Adelaja Official, and you will meet a lot of teachings on different topics that will really help you. And on Saturdays by 2 p.m.
Tomorrow.
Give time.
That's
Yes,
tomorrow.
tomorrow. But for you to join us, yes, Sandei Adelaja will come on live to do this analytical thinking. He's been on it for some time now.
That's 12 o'clock British time.
Yes.
12 noon. 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. Nigerian time, 1 p.m. European time, and 7 a.m. Eastern time in America. I think that's it.
Okay, you heard it. You will have it also on your screen. So join us tomorrow for teachings on analytical thinking. You see, it will really help you to not just be a biomass like most of us who were until we met Dr. Sandei Adelaja. Okay?
It's going on for more than a month now.
Yes, sir. It's been on for some while.
Are you not tired of me yet?
No, not yet. Not yet. Okay, for 8 months. That's
that's the whole thing. This
one that has
started in
pulled out.
January.
Yeah.
2 months.
Yeah, 2 months.
And I say, I'm asking, are you tired of me yet?
No, I don't think we ever get tired of you because you always come up with new things and new ways of doing it. So.
But I'm talking of the same topic.
No, we are not. Because you come in from different sides. We never heard most of the things you're saying. Okay,
So
and
not
like now that I'm on practical, you can even see that I've not really gotten it, so I have to go back to listen to those videos. So join us tomorrow.
Important topic.
Yes, we need it. We all need it. Because we always assume.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue with this question. As it continues, I had a bad experience where people falsely accused me of things I didn't do. They made a lot of false accusations. I think you've answered this.
Yeah, you can read it. Maybe somebody could
Okay.
relate to that.
They made a lot of false accusations against me, and I had to leave that congregation. I didn't leave Jesus, but they just attacked me so viciously. After that, I wondered if they were even a church. And thank God they brought me out of there. I love God, and God protected me throughout. But they attacked as though God put it on their hearts to do so. How should young Christians in ministry be safe from older leaders who doubt their motives for being there and for living?
You know, if you understand what I just explained already, then you don't need to be bitter. You just need to understand that that's where they are. When people accuse you of things, it reveals not just who you are, but it's revealing who they are. So it's not about you, really. It's about them.
Right. Okay, the third part of the question. I'm sure I'm not the only one this has happened to. So I would like it if you could share your thoughts so people will be more aware to not encourage such mean-spirited attacks. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you.
Like I said, the most important thing you need to deal with is forgiveness, not to hold any evil or any evil thoughts or accusation or judgment against any person. Just know that, it's not about you, it's about them. They're just revealing who they are, the content of their heart. But of course, if it has gone to the media, like in my case, things people talk about go to the media, and good people you think that are good, even believe these things. And they're carried away, and they begin to relate to you like that. But you know what? In my own case, I'm so experienced, and I'm so old now enough to know how to deal with that. What I do is that when any lie, false accusation is going around me, I keep quiet, first of all. Number two, I even encourage it to be spread. I don't just refuse to defend myself. I even let it spread more. When I was younger, I used to try to defend myself. But now, I even allow people to, I even put fire or kerosene. Bring some oil, some kerosene or I fan the fire. Let them spread the rumor and the bad news more. The reason why I do that is that I know one thing, that people who truly love me and people who truly follow me, people who truly know me, would never be bothered. People who really truly know me and love me, they don't care, they know me.
Yes, sir.
But I want the thing to even go higher, to go more. I want the rumor and the lies to even grow, to capture everybody. Because I want to see how many people it will carry away. And it's going to capture. Then that comes around to show me who those people are. And especially around me, I want the lies and the rumors and the accusations to come around me, to burn like fire. Because by the time it burns down, it's going to burn down everybody away from my environment. And it's going to burn everything up. So all the unnecessary people in my world and in my environment are going to be swept away like a flood.
And those are exactly those I don't really need in your circle. Wow. So this should be our own attitude, towards such lies.
Because I grew up in the village also. And in the village, when fire is burning in the, a house is burning down, or in the kitchen, when things are burning down, all the firewood and the wood and the flakes and the leaves and all things that are around that fire, all of them they turn to ashes. But you know what remains? The stones.
Wow. Wow.
But the stones, they just become like hardened at the end of the day. And then that's what you did. Because even the pot itself is standing on stones. And the stones is burning every day. But the fires are going and they are disappearing, but the stones are remaining. And we put fire from that side, this side, this side, this side, this side. So the things consume the stone. You want quality. You want entity. It doesn't even reduce in size, that stone. No. Yes. The size doesn't reduce. It remains the same. We want that kind of quality people around you. The cornerstones, the quality people. It only hardens them. And some of the building methods in houses in the olden days is clay. And clay is still one of the best building material in the world today. And you know what they used to do with clay? They pass them through fire. Clay. Okay. The red clay. It's on furnace. They put it in the furnace, and it's hardened, and that's what makes the thing refined and last. So but all the wrong people, all the wrong people around you, they will be burned off. So rejoice. You will find out the fake crisis and like that, like false accusation and things like that. They come to do things to you. They come to reveal your enemies and to remove them from your world. And then they come to also reveal your friends.
Wow. Crisis come to reveal your enemies and remove them, and to reveal who your true friends are really, Really are. Wow.
So don't make a big deal out of it. That's a big tragedy.
But actually, those stones, some stones are not really real stones. There are some kind of stones you put into fire. It will also turn to ashes. Wow, that's a great analogy. I really like it, analogy.
Have you seen that in Africa before?
Yeah, when you were talking about pot, I was even thinking I didn't think of stones. I was thinking of there's this kind of something that has 3 legs.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, pot stand or whatever that you use to cook, but it's made of iron.
But that is in you are talking about the Russian. Yeah, of the sophisticated cooking.
Yeah,
those
yeah.
ones for the cities where I grew up. The kind of the village that I grew up in, you don't see any iron like that.
Now I
Yes,
understand.
you only have the clay or the stones.
Wow. Don't worry about your enemies. The fire of crisis will burn them away, and that will give you more peace and push you forward in what you're doing. So the next question is it biblical? Is it biblically wrong to gamble?
Yes.
That's it?
Okay. Want me to go into details?
Yes, a little bit.
All right. It is biblically wrong to gamble because gambling is trying to reap where you didn't sow. Gambling is trying to get something for nothing. It's a mentality of getting something for nothing. Gambling is trying to gain without going through the process. The process, and also gambling is trying to gain advantage of other people's sweat. Gambling is like playing MMM, or it's like investing in get rich quick schemes. Gambling is like, is deception. Is like trying to gain profit without production of goods, without production of services, and just by speculating. It is speculation, and it makes you lazy. It doesn't just make you lazy, but because you are not working. You just want to get something just because you put something in. It's like lottery. And that's why most people who do gambling, they always become addictive to it. So it's a kind of addiction too. It's as addictive as using drugs or alcohol. It's like stealing. It's like, it's as bad as, like using drugs. So that's why most people who do gambling, they don't just lose the money eventually. Even when you win a lot, like in lottery, some people win a big lottery, but in 10 years' time, they come back to square one, and their situation is always worse than when they started. So it's against the nature of Christian values that the Bible preaches.
Okay, but a picture is coming to my mind, like what we do, we go to church to gamble too. Like we give God tithe.
Yes.
Then we lie down and rest,
Okay.
without really going through the process, without really doing the work that we are supposed to do. It's okay, I have given him, now I'm waiting for him to open up the windows of heaven. Can we relate that to gambling?
Do people do that, what you just said now?
Yes, some do it.
Okay, if people
some even preach it.
If people do what you just said now, and they preach it, and people give just to get something back, then they are not Christians. They are gamblers, but they are not Christians. That should not be allowed in Christianity. In fact, if you sow in Christianity, that's when you are supposed to work more. You are not supposed to sow and just expect without doing anything and going to relax. That's when you're supposed to work more. And then when you sow too, it's not necessarily that you need to expect something back in terms of money. When you sow to God, or when you give to God, it is about obedience. Giving to God, tithe and offering should be about obedience to God rather than about trying to expect something back. Even if you give to God and you want him to, he said he will give to you, he will open the doors of heaven to you. What he's talking about might not necessarily be material. It might be talking about ideas. It might be talking about wisdom. It might be talking about, strength, the power to gain wealth. So it might be telling you about blessing you in general, but not necessarily that you give some amount of money to the church or to God, and you are going to get more of the amount you give. That is it's not quite like that. Sometimes it could happen like that, but God shows it. You don't get to. God doesn't even send money. God will never give you money back. God could bless you by giving you opportunities. God could lead you to people or lead people to you. God could give you ideas, but you still need to work out to make those things come to pass. So it's not Christianity if any church does that.
If you just give your tithes and just relax, you're not a Christian. You've heard it.
You're not practicing Christianity.
You're not practicing Christianity. You're in the wrong. Okay, 7th question. Should a pastor prepare for succession or leave that solely to the church?
If we are going to talk about succession, we should look at the way our master did it. And our master is Jesus. And we see that he trained his people that will succeed him. So he prepared for succession. And if you're going to look at Paul also, you see that he also prepared for succession in the person of Timothy. In the place of Jesus, he didn't prepare one particular person, but he had a whole bunch of people that could succeed him. So you shouldn't just wait for your succession plan to be executed without planning it out. Or you shouldn't just expect a successor to, come out of nowhere when you did not prepare such a person. So it's better to prepare maybe not one person, maybe many people, but you must have a succession plan and a program that is allowing you to prepare people that will be ready to take your place when the time comes.
Okay. Prepare those that will succeed you. Don't wait for the last minute, okay? Next question. What is your take on the Apostle Suleiman scandal in Nigeria? And will it be right for him to step down if he is found guilty of the allegations?
First of all, my take is, okay, this is the apostle that has been accused, some woman, living women actually, because there are some cases I've been accused, but without living individual, no living people, just stock, right? But in this case, they are actually human beings coming out and saying, I am the one, video, not just some people writing some things. So,
now, some people are saying that those women are paid to do that.
It could be true. It's true, it might not be true. But first of all, what I would like to say is that we all should know that all of us are men and human. Any human being can do anything. Anything could happen to anybody. Me, you, any one of us are fallible. So, first of all, we have to remove the notion of perfection of men of God. We have to throw it in the garbage.
Right.
There is no one single man of God here in Nigeria or in Europe or in America that is perfect. You will never find any man of God like that. There is no individual on earth that is without sin, that is without issues. All of us are saved by grace, and all of us, are moving by grace, and all of us are walking, before God. Only God knows what other men don't know. Only God knows what is going on in the life of everybody. So the fact that you got to know something, what about if you didn't know it? You will still be following him, so what changes just because you knew? What about if it's true that he has been living like that for the past 10 years or 5 years, and you are still following him? He was an apostle to you, so what changes? For me, nothing really changes. The only thing that changes is that you got to know about one aspect of his life. But why were you following him before? The reason why you are following him before is that you saw something in him that you admired. Did that go away? Did that thing you admire disappear? Or did it stop functioning, or did he, if you just, okay, let me say this. Any human being you see, me, Pastor Nkiru, or any other person, we are not just one-dimensional. You are also not just dimensional. Even you that is looking at me now. What that means is that, for example, as a human being, I'm not just a pastor. I'm also a husband. I'm also a father. I'm also a friend to some people. I'm also a son to another person, to other people. So we are different things in our lives. So the thing that you see, that is what you know. Okay, let's talk about that Apostle Suleiman. You saw him as a teacher or as a pastor, whatever attracted you to him. That is who he is too. So, but what we kind of think sometimes is that, okay, if these things happen to be true, that means that he is not what he said he is. Why not? He is what he said he is. That's why you believed him. That's why you are following him. But that's just an aspect of his life. Maybe the aspect you knew about him was just maybe 50%. But there is another 50% of his life that you didn't know. So you just got to know maybe 1% today that maybe he had a weakness or a sin in his life. Maybe that's just 1% or 2% of his life. But that doesn't erase the 98% of what you already knew about him, or 50% what you knew about him. He still remains whoever he is. But only that he has this other aspect that you might not like, or that you might be wrong to you or to me, but he had it all the while. So it's your choice now. The fact that you don't even know about it doesn't mean that he didn't have it, or he doesn't have it. So now you just have to now weigh and say, okay, do I still respect and honor him enough with all other things that he brings to the table, knowing that he's not perfect, and I'm not perfect myself, and he's not perfect. So his imperfection, is it overriding his other positive sides? If it's not, then you still need to keep on respecting and honoring him the way you honored and respected him before then. But if those things happen to be true, I'm sure that he has reconciled with his master, with his Lord. I am sure the problem now, people asking him to step down, is not helping him, it's actually ruining him. Why? I will tell you why. Because the fact that this came out, it is what is actually going to help him to straighten out his work with God and make things right with God. And so it's now that we need to listen to him rather. But before then, when all of you didn't know anything, when you are following and running after him, that was the time you are not supposed to be following after him, because that was when he was down there, deep in the sin, because nobody knew.
Making a lot of sense.
So, the way people react and relate to these things, I don't buy into it. The fact that I got to know 1% of the life of the man, which is his weakness, or his sin, or his problem, doesn't cancel who he is to me. Who he is who he is. That's what we knew. We knew him as this person, so he remains who he is to me. And whatever he did or he didn't do, that's his own work with God. I'm sure he has resolved it with God. I think that's the best thing to happen to him. Because when trials like that happen to you, it makes you to run to God as a man of God and to make your life, put your life in order. So I'm not even seeing any big thing about it. If he had a problem, he's going to fix it. I'm sure he's fixing it with God already. But if he didn't do it, if it's a false accusation, we already spoke about false accusation today. And, it's their own problem. I don't know if I get...
Yes.
If I answer.
When all these kind of things happen, actually, to me personally, it's a time for me to check my own life, because, as you rightly said, nobody is perfect. But the problem is, most of the time, most of these our GOs or head of church, create themselves or make themselves to look to people as if they are perfect, as if they are holy. And this is why people now throw these accusations when things happen or feel the way that they do. So I think the appeal should also be to the men of God to not to behave to people or to appear to people or to present themselves to people as
if
if they are
infallible.
perfect, as if they are holy, you know, that they sit beside God all the time. So
That doesn't mean they don't sit beside God.
You
They
know what
still
I
sit
mean.
beside God.
Yeah.
Every one of us
Yeah.
still, you might still have, it doesn't, how do I say? You know, if God will, God himself, you know, God knows everybody. If God will come now with a picture of the worst aspect of your life, the worst thing you have ever done, and then open it out to the world, but that doesn't mean that you don't have relationship with God. You just had an issue, which you are dealing with God, which God is dealing with. It's your own walk with God. That is why Christianity is about personal relationship with God, personal walk with God. So it is your personal walk with God, and God knows how is you are setting. You know, and God knows what is happening between you.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you don't have personal. You are not holy, or you don't have personal with God. So if you are going to look at righteousness or holiness as an effort of your works and things like that, I got what you are saying, that a lot of men present themselves as perfect and infallible. Well, God is going to allow more of these things, of this kind of scandals to happen, so that we followers and we Christians, we will know that no, all men are just men. Even the best of men are only men. And that no human being is perfect. God is going to even allow disillusion to come. God is going to allow discouragement to come. God is going to unveil the weaknesses of his own people, so that you will never think that they are perfect. Because when you know that, and the reason God will reveal that is for your own sake, for the sake of the followers. So that, because if you think that they are perfect, you will be struggling to be like them. You will be struggling to be perfect like them. But they are not perfect. So when things are not working out for you, you are thinking they are perfect, and you are the only one who cannot be perfect. Because, you know, you are saying, but they is perfect. They are perfect. Why is it that it's not working out for me to be perfect? Because you are thinking they are perfect. But God is going to allow you to know that they are not perfect, so that when you are not perfect in your own work with God, you will be able to know that no, he is not perfect, and God is still using him. God is still forgiving him. He is still working with God. He is still striving towards God. He is still doing his best, that God could also use me. God could also accept me. God, you know, I can also work with God. But when you live in deception that these people are perfect, and that you need to be perfect, and you never get to be perfect, then it brings disillusionment. It breaks your heart. It brings you down. It, you know, just breaks you and shatters your faith. So the imperfection of your leader, or imperfection of any leader, or even the failure of a leader, or the fall of a leader, is for the benefit of followers. So that followers will be able to know that these people also are fallible, just like me. These people also could have challenges just like me. These people also have struggle just like me. God still uses them. God still, hears them. God still works with them. God still, works with them just like with me. So I'm good enough also for God. God doesn't have better vessels. God only have imperfect vessels. They are the only ones God has. God doesn't have perfect ones. So then when you realize that, then you'll be able to know that we are all walking by grace, and you'll be able to extend more grace to your leaders, because your leaders are not perfect for your sake. Because if they had been perfect, they would never be able to understand you. But if they are not perfect, then they can understand you and give you a hand and be able to lead you.
Your leaders are not perfect for your sake.
For your sake.
Wow. That just shows us that we shouldn't strive to be like them, but righteousness is already given to
Your
us.
own
We don't
relationship
work
with
it,
God,
yeah?
yeah.
So we keep on perfecting our relationship with him.
Right.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's wonderful. I think we should take one more question.
Are you sure we still have the time?
Oh, okay. We don't have the time. We don't have. There are still parts to this question. I think we'll answer it next time.
Okay.
So meanwhile, you remember that our 23rd anniversary is coming soon.
And HMT, yeah?
And HMT that follows immediately. So if you haven't registered, please go to guests@godembassy.org to register for the event that is coming soon.
Guests@godembassy.org?
Right.
They don't go there, they write there.
You write there, sorry.
Okay.
Write us at guests@godembassy.org to register if you want to be at the 23rd anniversary.
Or they could go to Sundayadelaja blog.com/visit.
SandeiAdelajablog.com/visit. That's where you can go to register, to know, how all these things are going to be. And the dates are starting from the 29th of March till the 8th of April. That is together with HMT. What is HMT? HMT is History Makers Training, where history makers are made. It's a movement that Dr. Sandei Adelaja started some years ago, and believe me, they are shaking the world, okay? So visit us at,
SandeiAdelajablog.com.
SandeiAdelajablog.com/visit, and write us at guest@godembassy.org if you want to be there. And we are waiting for you right here in Ukraine.
Guest@godembassy.org.
Guest@godembassy.org, or SandeiAdelajablog.com/visit.
Yep.
Okay, I hope you had a wonderful time today. We didn't answer all your questions, but keep them coming. We will continue next time because, I wanted Pastor to elaborate so that people will really understand, so that it won't be just,
Very good.
so that it won't be just, on the surface, so that people won't be left with more questions when we deal with one, okay? So keep your questions coming, and we will meet you the second fortnight, every fortnight, Friday, every Friday by fortnight.
Yes.
Or how will I speak it? By 9 p.m. Kyiv time, okay? We will give you the notification announcement weekly or whenever it comes. Remember to join us tomorrow. If you haven't liked the page, Dr. Sandei Adelaja, make sure you do it on Facebook.
And tomorrow is what time?
By 2 p.m. Kyiv time.
Yes, and 12 noon UK time, 1 p.m. European time, 1 p.m. Nigerian time, 7 p.m. Eastern time in America. And then my latest book.
Yes, the latest book.
How to build a secured financial future.
How to build a secured financial future. You can get it on Amazon. Pre-order on Amazon till Sunday. Sunday, the prices will go up.
See, tomorrow is the last day they could get it. Today and tomorrow.
Today and tomorrow is your last chance.
Yeah.
By Sunday, the prices will go up. But those in Nigeria that don't want to order through Amazon will have their own pre-order from Sunday at Okada Books. This is a book you must have to clear your debt, to know how to go about your finances, to secure a financial future. So thank you for being with us today. This is your host again, Nkiru Mado, and Dr. Sandei Adelaja. Thank you so much, sir, for all these questions.
Thank you.
So see you next time. Bye-bye.